In this video, I'm going to show how to change a 4-leg spindle in a Husqvarna riding mower. This applies to 2006 and newer models 42 through 54 inch. So a 7/8 socket and an impact driver strong enough to get the pulley bolt off is the first step. We'll put the pulley bolt back on by a couple turns, and then we'll hit it with a hammer to lower the shaft or knock it down to break loose the splines on the pulley, and then we'll slide the pulley off, get the belt out of the way, and provide on to the next step. Alright, time to get those bolts out. They will break off 9 out of 10 times. They will break off. I'm using a 400 foot-pound impact, and I don't know how these bolts came out without breaking off. I guess I got lucky on this one. Sometimes you get them all out, and sometimes you break them all off, but we're replacing the entire spindle anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And do not reuse the old bolts. So there's the new spindle, all shiny and new and freshly greased, and there's no threads. Most spindles you have to cut to threads. 9 out of 10 times, depending on who you get the spindle from, this is a factory part. They will come with factory provided self-tapping bolts, meaning use your impact and cut the threads. So this impact is set to half revolution mode, to where one pull of the trigger spins it 1/2 of a full revolution. Then I switch it into normal mode, where it runs the bolt all the way down and all the way out. That's to ensure nice clean threads throughout. So see there, just back it all the way out. Then we'll move on to the next spot and do the same thing. Now it's time to get the old spindle out. We will lift the deck, slide it out, set the nice shiny new spindle on top. It won't look nice and shiny new for long. Put the striping baffle on. It is very important to use that. Some models use it, some models don't. It's for aerodynamics. This is a 2006 year model, 42 inch, so it used the striping baffle. So now we will put the factory provided brand new bolts in. We'll line up all 4 holes and screw them in by hand to start with. And I don't know the torque specs. I've never torqued them. I just use an impact and run them down and let it hammer about once or twice. Then I usually finish it with a ratchet, or in this case I just put the impact on low and got it to where I felt it was tight enough. You don't have to go crazy with it. You can use an impact. But I always usually tighten them by hand, and I probably did, but this video was recorded months ago. So now we're going to put some Loctite 262, the red stuff, on the pulley bolts, because that's what it calls for. It came from the factory that way, so I'm going to put it back on the way it was originally designed or built. So we'll line up the splines, or if you don't line up the splines, you'll be replacing that pulley sooner than expected. So we'll start the bolt, or nut I should say, by hand, and then with the impact in one hand you will hold the pulley with the other hand. I recommend wearing gloves because a lot of times they can have sharp edges on it, but I seldom if ever wear work gloves while working. But we'll just put that bolt on there, and it takes it a while because there's a lot of threads, and be mindful of the grease, Zerk, don't break it. So now it's time for blades. There's that nice shiny new spindle. Once it hits grass it won't look nice and shiny anymore. So blades are very important. Without them, the mower is useless. Make sure you line up the star and put them on the correct orientation. The air lifts face up. See there? All that riding is facing up. So your air lifts face to the top of the deck, and your cutting edge faces down. And that's how the blade's supposed to look. If you flip it upside down, it won't fit right because it's beveled on the bottom. I put a little blue Loctite on the blade bolt because I have seen them come loose before. As long as you line that star up every time, you won't have to replace the spindle, because usually that's what wrecks the stars, is not lining the blade up all the way. So I'm going to use an impact to tighten the bolt. Again, I don't know the torque specs. You can do it by hand if you want, but I've always used an impact or an air impact, and it's worked for me for over 2 decades of doing this. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and remember, I'm a trained professional, and see you all in the next video. Bye for now.